Hello, this is Vampire. For today, I want to talk to you guys about my philosophies on knife combat. Okay, so first of all, let's talk about the word knife fighting. Some people have a huge problem with that because knife fighting implies almost that you're going to be doing a duel with somebody. And, a lot of the people that do reality self-defense and stuff, they feel that that is actually a fantasy world, that that never happens. For me personally, I'm not here to nitpick with words. I really don't care about that actually. The reason why I like to call it knife combat is because combat is, to me, implies war. It's just a much larger, uh, a larger word instead of just fighting. Fighting to me is a very specific term. More like a brawl or like they're implying a one-on-one fight, a struggle. Whereas to combat is now we're talking about warfare. So that just encompasses a whole lot more. So that's why I like the word knife combat better. As a martial arts instructor, uh, I'm not concerned with showing off and going, this is how good I am, and it's worked well for me, so you should do exactly the same that I do. This is the way, follow my way. I don't care about that. To me, that's not a good instructor, okay? And that's none of my concern. What I feel is a good instructor, and my whole goal is basically, as a teacher, is to help guide you in your studies. That's it. That's all. As simple as that. All right, another thing I want to talk about is when you first start in a knife combat system, a lot of times it's going to be like, don't do this. You'll get yourself killed. Don't even think about doing this. This will be really, really, really bad for you. It's a lot of don't do this, don't do that. From my perspective, from my opinion, that is a beginner's point of view. Okay, meaning when you first start off, there's a lot of don't do this, don't do that. But as you get better, you're able to break those rules. Those rules almost don't apply as you get better. All right. Now, you also don't want to go up to an instructor and you say, how do I survive against a knife in a street situation? These guys jump me and, they have knives or something. And he's like thinking real hard because he doesn't know where to start, because in his mind, he's actually real advanced and he doesn't want to give you a very specific answer. All right. That's because he's advanced. That's because he's good. You know, uh, that's not going to help you as a beginner. All right. So as a beginner, you need to operate in black or white. You need to operate in absolutes. Okay. Uh, but the important thing is you need to know that as you get better, that will change. Okay. And then, you'll be able to adapt with the circumstance. You'll be able to do stuff that may differ from textbook. All right. But that takes time. But you just have to be open to that and understand that. So, like for people in the military and in the police and stuff, you have to, because they have a short limit of time to train. They're not going to be doing this the whole time. They have other stuff like firearms and other tactics they need to work on. For people like that, they need something that's very black and white. Okay, so another thing that I want to point out here is there are lots of different styles, martial arts styles, lots of different styles that teach knife combat. Okay, I'm not here to criticize. To me, a good critique is something where you tell them something, you point out a flaw, or you point out something that they can improve upon, and it's going to help them. So if you say like, oh, your system, your style sucks, that is not a good critique. All that does is that's a put down, all right? And it's real easy to sit back and say, oh, that's not realistic at all. You guys are doing this wrong. It's real easy to say that kind of stuff, all right? But it's really, really difficult to actually you get off the chair and teach yourself. It's not easy, okay? And when I see someone that does that, they get off their butts because they're motivated, because they feel like they could do better or whatever. Okay, I come from a point of view that I know what it's like, so I know it's difficult. So I'm not going to be so quick to say, oh, you suck, you know, or you're just a beginner or whatever. You don't know what you're talking about. It's just easy to criticize like that. But you give them time and let them, you know, improve as they get more and more experience with it. Okay, it does take time. So the important thing is, if you are going to start teaching or if you are going to start criticizing or whatever, is to not be so harsh and not open your mouth and make such big statements. People who do that often are coming from a place that is either full of hate or they got some other issues, they got some other problems. It's not really about teaching, it's not really about helping the student become better. It has nothing to do with that, all right? It's they're saying stuff like my style is better than the other style. You know, this, like I said, the teacher has problems. Okay, so because there's a whole lot of different styles, a whole lot of different principles, a whole lot of different perspectives, methods, okay, how do you know which one is good? Well, I think I've already hinted out that number one, the teacher cannot be a jerk, all right? If he is just criticizing, coming from a place of hate, you know, that's, I don't care how good he is, don't train with that guy, don't train with that system. Those things are going to rub off on you, all right? You're going to have a very negative and closed mind. And honestly, you cannot get good that way. You can only get to a certain level. Maybe because you're so heated up and you have so much anger that it'll push you in your training, but that's really about it. You're not going to go further than that. To get better, you need more than that, okay? So that's not a good place. That's not a good instructor. Another thing is, because, like I said, there's so many different ways of thinking, and they're all valid, right? What makes one good, what makes one bad, is really going to come down to quality. So what is quality? Quality is just how much you train. It has nothing to do with lineage, you know, who you're associated, affiliated with. It just comes down to how much you guys practice. So, you know, this is one of the things why I don't like to come on to the YouTube channel and just give you guys a whole bunch of philosophies. This kind of videotape that I'm making is very, very rare, all right? I just want you guys to drill, to practice, 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 because why? That is what's going to bring up your quality.